Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast. I have a special guest for you today that I am excited to bring on the podcast so she can share all of her magic and goodness. I have Tyona Vallejo here, who is the founder of Enough and Evolving Coaching and Wellness, and is a master certified life and business coach with over 10 years in holistic wellness. She supports women in releasing self-doubt and cultivating confidence, clarity, and self-trust through mindset, emotional regulation, and embodiment work. Her philosophy is simple yet powerful. You are already enough. And from that place, aligned success naturally follows. So welcome in, Tyona. It's so good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm very grateful.
Yes, me too. I want to hear about this philosophy of yours where you say it's simple and powerful. You are already enough. And from that place, aligned success naturally grows. Where did you come up with that? Where did you learn this? Did this come from lived experience?
Yeah. Oh, man. A lot of lived experience, I feel like. I feel like there's this calling for me as well to really bring this message. It's just like, this is my soul's purpose, is to live this and to share this knowledge, this understanding with whoever is, open. It's been a journey for me to really feel into that feeling of enoughness, to really understand my worthiness at the deepest level. There's a question I started pondering years ago that just never left me. And it's really interesting. And it's just, what if you could see yourself through your maker's eyes? Like, how different would you really understand yourself? How differently would you show up in your life? And that's just always kind of been something that feels really expansive and magical at the same time. That just taking on that, question and really feeling into it.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I know the mantra, the word worthiness, enough, I am enough, you are worthy. We hear it a lot, of course.
Yeah.
How would you, if you were to describe what that actually means to you on a deeper level, you are enough or you are worthy, what does that mean?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think that we get so indoctrinated by society and what is good, what is bad, what we're supposed to be striving for. And we often just don't realize that has nothing to do with the intrinsic worthiness of who we truly are at our core. And it's hard, because we're living this human life, right? And so it gets really muddied up especially when we're ambitious and we're trying to go after certain goals, or we're trying to fit into certain things. And it can feel like you're lacking in some way. And I feel like I grew up a lot with that kind of mentality of like that scarcity mentality that, oh, I'm missing something that everybody else has that I don't have, and feeling like an outcast a lot. I moved around a lot as a child, and so I always had to like make new friends, which was there was good and bad. That was great. It got me out of like being in my shell, and I had to learn how to make friends, how to talk to other people. And while that was really beneficial, it was also like I was always stepping into this world, this other people's world, and how do I fit in here, right? So back to your question on what does enoughness mean to me, it's just really getting in touch with more of that, I guess, spiritual knowing of my worth isn't earned. It just is. And tapping into that is, I believe, like it's a practice while we're in this human meat suit, right? It's like tapping into really understanding that. I think that's the forgotten knowledge that we had, right? And so we're like always trying to reaccess and feel into what that means. And so we fall asleep to it, right? We go unconscious to it. And then I think we learn to become conscious and aware, and we see all the, the thoughts and the mental chatter, the drama, and how it really isn't true. It's not real, right? It's that Byron Katie's work. Is it true, right? Asking ourselves about the thoughts that arise in our mind, and really recognizing that no, that you always have a choice, and that there is this actual knowing of who you really are when you get quiet, when you get still, when you listen within, and you're not listening to like these, voices that are kind of, conditioned voices, or like maybe voices that you heard from, people as you grew up and heard like, oh, you need to be this way or that way, or you should do that, Yeah, not all those judgmental, critical voices. I'm talking about like just like this really peaceful, loving voice that you can connect with.
Very beautifully put. And yeah, it's like I've heard it said the ego has an addiction to this idea or this identity of I'm not enough, or there's something wrong with me, or in this area of my life, it's just unfixable. I can't figure it out, or, oh, it's so much harder for me. So I'm wondering, because I know you have an amazing, extensive background in wellness, in coaching. You're a master coach. You also work a lot with nervous system with women. You teach yoga. What would you say could be some practices that our ambitious entrepreneurial listeners could maybe practice when that voice comes in, that voice of comparison? Or I know in business it shows up so much of I'm far behind, or I just can't get it around selling, or I haven't figured this out yet. Are there some practices that they could bring in, maybe daily practices, or what you do, what you teach, that could really help someone remember who they are, reconnect with that worthiness, with that enoughness?
Yeah. Obviously, there's the mindset work that I really like learned through LCS, and understanding the difference between facts versus story. So there's that initial becoming aware of what your mind is saying. And so, like, the thought dumps are really great for that, right? Throwing all your thoughts onto paper and then seeing them and questioning, right? Not just letting them be factual and going about your day, but really just like scrutinizing your own mind and what it's telling you and what is true.
So for someone who hasn't heard of LC, so LCS is the life coach school. That's where actually Tyona and I were both certified as coaches and did extensive training in mindset. So for someone who doesn't know what like a mind dump is exactly, how would you describe that?
Ooh, yeah, I would just say sit down and just write down everything you hear in your own brain, like everything that comes up. Like right now, glasses. I'm looking at my office. I'm on this podcast. How's it going? It's going fine. Just whatever. Just like all the
chatter of
thoughts
the
that are
brain.
there, all the brain. And things will come up, things will arise that you'll, start to be, question as to, whoa, okay, I didn't realize I was thinking this, or you'll see it as a very judgmental thought, right? And you'll think, whoa, okay, well, I see when I think that doesn't feel too good, right? And so you get to choose what you focus upon, what you believe. But we're not able to choose it unless we're aware of it, right? So the awareness is what really gives us more autonomy. It gives us more authority over ourselves, over what we choose to do in our lives, in our business, in our relationships, all of it.
Totally. Yeah. Once you get it on paper, you see it from a new perspective. When you get your thoughts, that's the power of journaling.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so there's that first step and just noticing the mind, right? But then there's also the awareness of how we're feeling, our body, how we're coming to the work, sitting down. And I think that can be just such a powerful place to start as well. Because if you are feeling, let's say, agitated or nervous, or you're feeling like a neediness around your business has to perform in a certain way for you, that's going to energetically affect everything that you do. And this is something that I really had to clean up. And this is one of the things that you really helped me with, Jamie, that the manifestation group that you have really allowed me to kind of dismantle and start to realize where I was really getting in my own way and how I could start to lean back and feel much more accepting of where I was at, instead of feeling like I needed to hustle, I needed to do more, I needed to be something that I wasn't. Again, that's just like that lack mentality trickling in to business. So it's like that same patterning that I had started to take over in my business. And I knew it was there. I heard it. I heard the mindset. And I even worked with other coaches that kind of pointed it out. However, I just didn't know how to fix it besides trying to fix that mindset part.
By trying to change the thoughts, is that what you initially were just trying to thought swap or practice positive mantras?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And that is so powerful in some situations. It really is. Once you figure out how to do that kind of work, that really did help me shift my marriage, my relationship. So many things in my life changed when I started that mindset work. But there was that missing component that I didn't recognize I needed before I started working with you. And once I started working with you, then I realized, oh, shoot, I'm having a nervous system response here. Like, this isn't something I can even fix with my mindset, because the nervous system is what actually shapes your mindset. So if your nervous system is used to going into a certain state and it doesn't feel safe, then you can try to mindset all you can. It's not going to work.
Yeah, the positive mantras aren't going to land. You won't feel them in your body.
No.
Yes.
No. So that's where I really had a deep dive. In this last year, I've gone into an advanced nervous system training that I absolutely have loved. And it has taught me so much about what's happening, how I was, getting blocked. And now I have new practices that are really helping me kind of reshape that whole experience that I was having in my business, where I was just feeling like I needed to just push and prove and all of that.
So I definitely want to hear about these practices that you're doing with the nervous system. But first, I think listeners might be wondering, how do I know? Like, they're probably thinking, okay, I know I have a block around business. I know I have a block around money, because it's just not working. Other things are manifesting in my life. Other things are flowing. It is not flowing there, right? And there might be wondering, how do I know if it's a mindset block or a nervous system block? Is there a way to tell the difference? How would you describe it? Because you kind of have had both of those where you kind of got stuck with just mindset, but you've had some shifts with mindset. How do you tell the difference?
I would say that if you feel like, oh, I've tried it all. I've tried the mindset. I've tried, even, especially if you've gotten coached about certain things and you logically recognize where you're actually getting in your own way. You logically can see the problem that you're having, but you're not able to change it, then that's a big red flag that it is actually a nervous system response that's happening. It's something that is happening before you can even logically know what's happening. It's in your subconscious, this patterning that is, unfolding in your experience. It's not a logical, conscious awareness thing.
And I always think for myself, whenever I'm trying to practice an intentional thought or a positive mantra and it just doesn't land, and there's almost resistance there to it, of like a fighting it or anything like that, that's when I know it's nervous system. Yeah, that's always a big red flag for me. So, okay. So with mindset stuff, it's helpful to look at the awareness, get your thoughts down, look at them, question them. If someone feels like I'm not getting very far, right? Or like I've gotten so far with that, I feel like there's something deeper here. I feel like this might be nervous system. What would be some practices to help someone come back to that enoughness, that worthiness from a nervous system perspective, if it's triggered within their nervous system?
Yeah. The simplest and most profound shift that you can make is simply by creating safety. And basically, what all that means is in this moment, because this is all we ever have, is the moment that you're in right now and now. and now, right? It's like we talk about the past, we talk about the future, we think in our mind about those two spaces, but it's always from a place of now that we're thinking about them, right? And so understanding that in this moment, you can look around your room and ask yourself, am I safe in this moment? Am I safe? And most of us can look around and say, oh, well, absolutely, I'm safe, right? There's no potential threat coming at me. There's no like tiger trying to get me or, any of that, right? There's no rabid dog coming at me. I'm completely safe in this moment, logically. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is just asking yourself, your body, do I feel safe? Do I feel safe? And if you don't feel safe, what is it that you feel? Becoming aware of what it is that you feel, because a lot of us just like go about our lives and we're not even checking in. We're just like this mind, right? This bobblehead, right? Those bobbleheads, like they're
Running from one thing to the next.
but we're a mind and a body, right? Our nervous system is the command center. It is the entirety of this human, contraption machine, right? So when we can really get that connection that, well, what is my body feeling in this moment? I recognize logically I'm safe, right? But what is my body feeling? And I like to always place like a hand on the heart or both hands on the heart just to really feel in, or maybe sometimes a hand on my belly, hand on the heart, and to ask myself, what is it that I'm feeling? And maybe I'm feeling a little bit anxious, right? Maybe I'm feeling a little bit of frustration or irritation or something, just recognizing what is that? What is that feeling in my body like? Maybe it feels like buzzing, or it feels like antsiness, or it feels like my, chest feels like it's super heavy, or I feel a pit in my stomach, or whatever it is. Recognizing the truth of what is in the moment instead of gaslighting yourself and going, yeah, oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. I should be better. I should know that, I should be past this or any of that. Really just taking a moment to acknowledge what is. What is your experience in your body? Can you name the emotion? Can you name the sensations that are associated with that emotion in your body? When you create this understanding, this awareness, now it's like your nervous system feels like, oh shit, she's paying attention to me, right? She sees me. She's not just like trying to, go and go and go, and her mind is racing and all of the things. No, we're like this unit. And there's just like, I even felt it as we just did it. And it's just this like settling down, right? This like grounding experience that happens. So you've given yourself space to see what it is that you're feeling, you're experiencing, and doing so, you often just are able to kind of relax back. It doesn't mean that maybe anxiousness always disappears. It might dissipate or dissolve a little or a lot or all the way. But it's like this more grounded, secure, loving awareness is now a big part of your experience instead of just this screaming emotion of fear that's trying to get your attention. That is regulating your nervous system. Really, it sounds so simple, but it's the practice of it.
what happens over time as you practice it? Like, I know you said the first time you do it, the anxiety may go away some, but maybe not 100%, and it's just you're with it. But let's say you start making this a practice of, especially, let's just say, even when you're triggered, like make it a practice when you look at your bank account or when you look at your numbers or when you're something that you're tend to get triggered around in your business. If you start practicing this of just slowing down, noticing the trigger, taking a deep breath, really feeling in your body, wait, let's pause here. Breathe. What am I feeling? Like, where is this showing up? And you start doing that, just that simple practice. What do you see happening over time?
Oh, you definitely grow your window of tolerance over time of you being able to show up in a more confident, courageous way. You really change your frequency if we're talking about manifestation. But I love that you just brought up, Jamie, your bank account. Yeah. This is something I had to do a lot of work with. After experiencing a kind of financial collapse, we went into bankruptcy at one point, and I really had PTSD in my anytime I'd open my bank account, right? I got in this, really bad experience where it was like every time I would look at the bank account, I would kind of brace, right? I didn't even notice this until I started bringing more awareness, right? Awareness is key to this experience. And so I made it a rule for myself that I could not look at my bank account until I was completely safe. So this is actually years ago. And so I have been practicing that safety practice for years, but not realized that's what was happening, that I was really affecting my nervous system. So that was probably my first, really big shift in recognizing how acknowledging safety in your body, really honing safety in your body, can make such a big difference in your experience, in your finances, in your relationship with your money. It was huge. And so once I got in that state of calm, and I'd even start to work up into, those positive affirmations, money always shows up for me in, wonderful, divine, surprising ways. And so I would open up my bank account and I'd feel so much different than, what I had been.
Yeah, that's
in
amazing.
That fight or flight stress response.
And what's it like for you now?
Oh, that's just it's seared in. That is every time I still do that practice.
Yes. Incredible. And from safety, that's the thing that I always love to talk about, in the work that I do with entrepreneurs and in manifestation and in the movement, is if you can get yourself to a place of safety, if you can get yourself to a place of okayness, then you can open up to the mantras and they can land. But when you're in a place of panic and scarcity and deep fear, no way can you say the universe always provides and believe it. But when you can practice, that's when the mantras can actually land for you and start working. So it's amazing that you started bringing those in then afterwards.
Yes, 100%.
Oh my gosh. So I want to talk a little bit about, because I've seen just such a shift in you. That's why I said I wanted to have you on the podcast, because you have now been in the money manifestation movement for almost a year now. And I've seen such a shift in you around your business, how you show up. It's just I feel like you've come alive in a new way in your marketing. It feels like you've kind of this is just from my perspective and from what I've seen, it feels like you've opened the flow or untapped something. It feels like things are flow. Tell me if that's your perspective or what's shifted for you.
No, I definitely feel that. Yeah. I definitely feel that shift for sure. again, it was recognizing that safety practice was something that I really needed to lean into, that I really wasn't, because I'm a bit of a, I don't know. I don't know if I'm like type A. I kind of consider myself type A, but I have this really chill, relaxed part of me. So it's kind of, but I definitely feel like I can get into, because I'm a self-motivator, kind of more of that push, that ambition, and I wasn't seeing that I really needed to lean back and take a breath and ground myself so much in safety before taking off and going and doing all the things. And I had other coaches saying this, find sufficiency. You need to find sufficiency. You need to come from that sufficiency. And I was like, where the is this sufficiency? Sorry. I was like, I was so frustrated. I'm just like, okay, where do I?
Then you fight to find sufficiency, right? Trying to force sufficiency so that you can create results and make it happen.
Because I could
Guilty.
do that.
I mean, I've been there too. So,
but it was something that took me. That again, you really helped me figure that part out. And I'm trying to remember if we had our one-on-one coaching session, and I feel like it was something you had said. I wish I could go back and watch that. Something you had said just like kind of dropped in, and it was more or less that you kind of gave me permission to just stop marketing, to be honest. I think those were your exact words. And that kind of just broke my brain right there. I was like, what? I mean, I went to school for marketing, girl. So
did you?
I got my business degree in marketing.
So for someone to say you don't have to do that. Well, I do remember you saying like, yeah, I think all my clients like came from referrals. They came from me. I'm like, well, then why are you trying to force something you don't like doing? It was probably something around that.
And yeah, so just like reshaping the way I was showing up in my business, just totally. Yeah, last year, the year of being in your group was all about recalibrating for me. And so that has been the shift, is really just, oh, okay, I really need to tend to my nervous system first. And then from there, I mean, the whole reason I got into, being my own boss, being an entrepreneur, having my own business, is because I wanted to do it my way, right? And I got into this, this race, or this like idea that I needed to do it a certain way to be successful.
Yeah, the have to. Yep.
Yeah. So I had to, get out of that and then figure out where do I start? And cleaning up that sufficiency part was the first place I had to start.
What have you witnessed as you've started giving yourself permission to do it in your own way?
Having more fun, just really letting go of that neediness, that was I was wound tight there.
Absolutely. That is beautiful. And I mean, not wholeheartedly believe, I know it's like we're all unique beings with unique energy. And there's a gifted way that you can do business that feels good and flowy for you. But so many of us get wrapped into, this is what I have to do. And then we're totally trying to fit ourselves into this box that feels like suffocation. And when you free yourself, what's wild is, your thing was, well, maybe I don't have to market. And then when you give yourself permission not to, look, I mean, you're still marketing, but it's from a completely different place. It flows. It's so different. So I just acknowledge that. And it's been amazing to witness all of your growth. And I know what an amazing coach you are, with such an extensive background in different modalities to really support women. So could you tell the listeners how you work with people and where they could follow you or find you if they want to do some of this deeper work. If they're like, I've done the mindset, I feel like I'm blocked, I want to go deeper and do some of these practices and have some support around shifting on a deeper level.
Well, I love playing around on Instagram. I'm in stories a lot there. Love doing some reels and carousels. So join me on the party there. Yeah, we have fun conversations.
Can you tell them what your Instagram name is, though?
Yeah, it's Tyona Vallejo Coaching. You can find me on there, Tyona. And I actually I've never met anyone with my name until like we all got on to social media. And then I Googled my name or whatever. And I'm like, oh, other people have my name. This is so cool. But I think I'll be one of the first that come up when you,
Probably the only coach.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And then I'm starting a podcast. I'm so excited about. Yeah. And so it'll be the Enough and Evolving podcast. And it's launching in February. So
congratulations.
You can find me on there.
Yes. Perfect. I love it so much. Well, thank you so much for coming on and for sharing your brilliance. It was so much fun.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for all your help, your coaching, and thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.